So what actually happened in that Uber sexual assault lawsuit? So on February 5th, a Phoenix jury hit Uber with an $8.5 million verdict in the first trial from roughly 3,000 federal cases. So what really happened? The jury found Uber liable under apparent agency. Now that means they treated the driver as Uber's agent, even though Uber claims drivers are independent contractors. Interestingly, the jury rejected the direct negligence claims and awarded no punitive damages. So why does this actually matter? Okay, so this kind of changes the game. Juries can apparently hold Uber accountable for driver misconduct based on apparent agency alone without finding the company negligent. So that's a big deal for Uber's independent contractor defense. They're going to appeal, obviously, but if this holds up across multiple trials, it could force major settlement talks. So what's next? Well, Judge Charles Breyer has 20 bellwethers scheduled. That's a lot. How these play out will determine everything. If juries keep finding apparent agency liability or start awarding bigger damages, global settlement talks will heat up really fast. If Uber starts winning, they might dig in and fight each and every case as opposed to having a global settlement. So what this means for your firm is basically for survivors in general, you want to validate their stories and be able to tell these people's stories in an eloquent way. Inspect with you expect. Treat everyone with dignity and just understand that trauma is very, very real. They trusted Uber with their lives, right? So these are people, women, men, they went into their vehicle, they trusted that they would be safe, and the individuals who committed these assaults, these predators, harmed them in a real material way. And it is something you have to be really sensitive to. Understand that this might be the first time that the individual actually talks about their sexual abuse and actually talks about these things out loud. They may not have told their parents. They may not have told their loved ones. They might not have told their friends. This might be the first time this individual tells their story. So you want to give a lot of agency and freedom for your potential claimant, who is a real person, to tell this story. Listen for anything that might seem like an inconsistency. Obviously, you have to vet and figure out if these have legitimate claims. Unfortunately, not everyone who was abused will necessarily pass a criteria, because sometimes it's a verbal abuse, an argument that someone felt harassed, but it may or may not qualify for the actual sexual abuse lawsuit. However, always best to handle this through a lawyer and have honest communication with your lawyer about what happened, when it happened. Name the actual incident, look it up on your phone, have a record of it, and be able to prove all these different steps. That's very, very important. It's important also to act fast, because some of these statute of limitations might be running very soon. So you have to start engaging with your lawyer straight away. These are serious cases. These are serious accusations, and it's very important to jump on this right away. Uber apps are actually becoming a very litigious area, and Lyft is right behind it. This actually sets the stage for more bigger rideshare conversations that involve Lyft as well. So, love you guys. Stay safe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.